The damaged starship appeared at the edge of Neptune's orbit like a wounded bird. Its metal hull showed deep black scars from energy weapons. Small fires burned inside broken sections, visible through torn armor plates. The ship was dying, and everyone who saw it knew this truth. Captain Theron stood on the bridge of the Sovereign's Talon and made a choice that hurt his pride. The Krell Empire had built this ship, a massive dreadnought that carried 3,000 crew members. For 200 years, the Krell had ruled their corner of the galaxy with power and strength. They never asked other species for help. They especially never asked humans. But today was different. Today, Theron had no choice. His ship had fought the Vesh Collective at the border. The insect-like aliens had attacked with 20 ships against his one. The battle lasted 6 hours. The Sovereign's Talon survived, but barely. Now the main engines sputtered and failed every few minutes. Life support systems leaked air into space. The medical bay overflowed with injured crew members. The nearest Krell repair dock waited 3 weeks away. His ship would not last 3 weeks. It might not last 3 days. Theron's 4 eyes focused on the view screen. He looked at Gateway Station, the human repair facility that orbited Neptune. The station was huge, bigger than any Krell repair dock, but size meant nothing. The question was simple: could humans fix what Krell engineers had built? In the galaxy, everyone knew certain facts about humans. They were decent fighters, good diplomats, and fair traders. But engineers? Mechanics? The galaxy laughed at human repair work. Krell docks used perfect automation. Tizen facilities employed the most advanced artificial intelligence. Human docks used hands, actual organic hands touching metal and circuits. It seemed primitive, backward, inefficient. Theron's communications officer spoke carefully. The young Krell male knew his captain's pride. "Captain," Gateway Station responds, "they offer emergency docking and full repair services." Theron's crystalline armor plates shifted with his uncomfortable feelings. Each plate on his body showed his emotional state to other Krell. Right now, the plates showed embarrassment and worry. "Accept their offer," Theron said quietly. "We have no alternative." The Sovereign's Talon limped toward Gateway Station. As they approached, Theron saw the human facility more clearly. Unlike clean Krell docks, this station looked busy and chaotic. Small ships flew in every direction. Repair crews worked on the outer hull, their small figures barely visible against the station's lights. Radio communications filled with human voices talking, laughing, sometimes singing. Singing while working. Theron found this disturbing. Gateway Station's main dock opened like a giant mouth. The Sovereign's Talon floated inside. Magnetic clamps grabbed the damaged dreadnought and held it steady. Theron watched as dozens of humans in repair suits flew toward his ship. They moved like insects around food, quick and purposeful. A human voice came through his communication system. "Sovereign's Talon, this is Chief Engineer Sarah Chen. Welcome to Gateway Station. We're starting our assessment now. Your crew is safe. We'll take good care of your ship." Theron studied the video feed from outside his ship. Chief Engineer Chen looked young for her position, perhaps 30 Earth years. She wore a repair suit covered in tool pouches and small devices. Her short black hair was pulled back, and her dark eyes examined his ship with intense focus. But what shocked Theron was what happened next. Chen and her team did not use scanning devices first. They did not deploy automated analysis systems. Instead, they touched the hull. They pressed their gloved hands against the damaged armor plates. They put their helmets against the metal and seemed to listen. One engineer, a tall woman with red hair, placed her ear against a section that looked undamaged. She stayed there for almost a minute. Then she marked the spot and called others over. Theron's second officer, Navigator Kalith, watched with him. "What are they doing?" she asked. "Why do they touch the ship? Do they not trust their instruments?" "I do not know." Theron admitted he contacted Chen directly. "Chief Engineer, may I ask about your methods? Your team appears to be examining my ship with physical contact." Chen smiled, and her voice carried warmth. "That's right, Captain. Scanners tell us what's broken, but touching the ship tells us why it broke and what else might break soon. My engineer Martinez just found a crack in your forward section. Your scanners missed it because the metal hasn't separated yet, but she felt the stress in the hull. We'll fix it before it becomes a real problem." Theron checked his own damage reports. There was no mention of any crack in that section. He sent a repair drone to investigate. 10 minutes later, the drone confirmed Chen's words. A hairline crack ran through the armor plate. invisible to standard scans but definitely present. How had a human found this by touching the hull? Over the next hour, Chen's team completed their assessment. They moved through the ship section by section. They touched, listened, and sometimes even smelled different areas. When they finished, Chen came aboard to meet with Theron in person. She walked onto the bridge, removing her helmet. Her human face showed concern but also confidence. "Captain Theron, I won't lie to you. Your ship took serious damage, but we can fix it. 3 days for emergency repairs to get you flight-worthy. 2 weeks for complete restoration. We'll make the Sovereign's Talon better than it was before the battle." Theron's armor plates shifted with skepticism. "Better than before? That seems unlikely, Chief Engineer. This ship was built by the finest Krell craftsmen." Chen did not seem offended. Instead, she pulled out a small device and showed Theron several images. "Your Krell craftsmen did excellent work, but they followed exact specifications. They built everything to last exactly 100 years of service. Your ship is 83 years old. Some systems are starting to fail not because of battle damage, but because they're reaching their planned obsolescence. We don't just repair damage. We upgrade weak points. We improve efficiency. We make ships last longer." She paused, and her expression became serious. "Captain, we found something else. Something important. Your main power distribution system has a cascade failure building in the control algorithms. It won't show up on your diagnostics for another month, but in 6 weeks, maybe 7, it would kill everyone on this ship. The failure would happen all at once. No warning, no time to evacuate." Theron felt cold fear. His crew, 3,000 Krell who trusted him to keep them safe. "You are certain?" "Yes, sir." "We'll fix it. But Captain, this is why we use our hands and our experience. Automated systems check things against specifications. They look for what should be wrong. We look for what feels wrong. That hidden failure. It was technically within acceptable parameters. No AI would ever flag it. But one of our engineers sensed something off in the power flow. We investigated and found the problem." Chen extended her hand in the human gesture of greeting. "We'll start repairs immediately. Your crew can rest. You're safe here." Theron reached out and took her hand. The human grip was firm but gentle. For the first time since the battle, he felt hope. Perhaps these humans with their primitive methods knew something that the rest of the galaxy had forgotten. Perhaps touching a ship with your own hands mattered more than anyone realized. For the next 72 hours, Captain Theron watched the humans work on his ship. What he saw changed everything he believed about repair and engineering. The human repair dock was nothing like Krell facilities. At home, automated systems worked in perfect silence. Robotic arms moved with precise coordination. Everything followed predetermined protocols. Clean, efficient, emotionless. Gateway Station was chaos. Music played from speakers in the repair bay. Human engineers shouted to each other across large distances. They made jokes. They laughed. Sometimes they argued loudly about the best way to fix something, then worked together to try both methods and see which worked better. The repair bay itself looked lived in. Personal decorations covered the walls. Photos of family members, children's drawings, small plants growing in containers. One engineer had attached a small banner that read, "Best Repair Team in the Galaxy," with hand-drawn stars around the words. Theron found all of this deeply unprofessional. Then he watched them work, and his opinion started to shift. Chief Engineer Chen stood beneath the Sovereign's Talon's damaged port side. She studied a complicated mess of broken metal and melted circuits. This was where a Vesh energy weapon had punched through the armor. A young man approached her. He looked nervous. "Chief, the life support coupling is completely destroyed. The replacement part was discontinued 80 years ago. The manufacturer went out of business. I checked 6 supply stations. Nobody has this part anymore." At a Krell dock, this would mean one thing. The ship could not be fully repaired. It would either limp home with partial life support, or wait months for a custom fabrication, possibly both. Chen looked at the young engineer and smiled. "Good work finding that out quickly. Now go get Rodriguez from fabrication. Tell him we need a hybrid part. Krell interface on one end, human standard on the other. He'll know what to do." Theron activated his communication device. "Chief Engineer, I heard your conversation. A hybrid part? Such a thing does not exist in the specifications." "It doesn't exist yet," Chen agreed. "But it will in about 6 hours. We'll make it. You cannot simply make a crucial life support component. The engineering tolerances, the safety requirements, the testing protocols. Captain, with respect, we do this every day. Your ship isn't the first old vessel that needs discontinued parts. We combine old technology with new manufacturing. The hybrid part will work perfectly, last longer than the original, and probably perform better. Want to watch us make it? Theron did want to watch. He met Chen in the fabrication bay 30 minutes later. Master fabricator James Rodriguez was already working. He was a short, heavy man with gray hair and hands that moved with absolute confidence. He had taken apart the destroyed coupling and laid out all the pieces on a work table. Okay, Rodriguez said, studying the parts. 80-year-old Krell design. Beautiful work, really. The problem is they used a proprietary connection system that nobody makes anymore. But the actual function? Basic fluid transfer and pressure regulation. We can do this, he started sketching on a display screen. His design combined the Krell connector system with human fluid dynamics technology. He explained each choice to Chen, who asked questions and suggested improvements. Theron watched with fascination. In a Krell facility, one engineer would create the design. Another would review it. A committee would approve it. Testing would take weeks. Here, two humans worked together, making decisions in real time, trusting each other's expertise. Rodriguez sent the final design to the fabrication machines. Then he did something unexpected. He did not just watch the machines work. He stood beside them, checking each step, making tiny adjustments, ensuring every measurement was perfect. Why do you do that? Theron asked. The machines are programmed correctly. Rodriguez did not look away from his work. Machines do what you tell them. But sometimes what you tell them isn't quite right. Experience teaches you to watch for the small signs. A vibration that feels wrong. A sound that shouldn't be there. I've been doing this for 30 years. My hands know things my brain hasn't learned yet. 6 hours later, the hybrid coupling was complete. Rodriguez tested it 3 times, then installed it himself. When he finished, Chen activated the life support system. It worked perfectly. Theron checked his ship's systems. The new hybrid part was not just working, it was working better than the original design. Fluid pressure was more stable. Energy efficiency had improved by 3%. But the real surprise came the next day. Navigator Keyleth, Theron's second officer, broke her arm during an inspection of the damage. She fell from a ladder when a piece of loose debris shifted. The break was clean but painful. Human medical staff arrived within minutes. Dr. Amara Okafor, a tall woman with dark skin and gentle hands, examined Keyleth quickly. Clean break, the doctor said. We can fix this easily. Come with me to medical. Theron accompanied Keyleth to the medical bay. He expected quick, efficient treatment. The humans would heal the bone and send Keyleth back to duty. That was not what happened. Dr. Okafor did heal the break. Human medical technology was excellent and the bone was repaired in 15 minutes. But then the doctor sat down with Keyleth and simply talked to her. That must have been frightening, the doctor said. Falling is always scary. How are you feeling? Not just your arm.
How are you feeling inside?
Keyleth looked confused by the question. I am fine. My arm is healed. Yes, but you just fought a battle. Your ship nearly died. You're in a foreign repair dock. You fell and got hurt. That's a lot of stress. It's okay to feel worried or upset. Keyleth's armor plates shifted. She was feeling something but trying not to show it. Dr. Okafor noticed immediately. Tell me what you're thinking, the doctor said gently. And Keyleth did. She talked about the fear during the battle. The worry that they would all die in space. The shame of needing human help. The doctor listened to everything and never judged. When Keyleth finished talking, she seemed lighter. Her armor plates had settled into a calm pattern. Thank you, Keyleth said quietly. Theron was shocked. This conversation had taken 45 minutes. In a Krell medical facility, that would be considered wasteful, inefficient. Medical staff should heal injuries and move to the next patient. But Keyleth returned to duty afterward and worked better than before. She seemed more focused, more confident. The doctor had healed more than just her arm. Over the following days, Theron noticed many such moments. The humans worked with an intensity that puzzled him. They took personal pride in their repairs. Engineer Chen stayed awake for 36 hours straight, not because anyone ordered her to, but because she wanted to finish a critical system repair. Other engineers brought her coffee and food. They encouraged her to rest, but when she refused, they simply worked alongside her. They shared the burden. One morning, Theron witnessed something that made him understand the human method. A young technician named Tommy made a serious mistake. He connected a power relay incorrectly, causing a small explosion that damaged a plasma conduit. The repair would cost thousands of credits and add 8 hours to the schedule. In a Krell facility, that technician would face punishment. Demotion at minimum, possibly removal from duty. Mistakes were not tolerated. Chen arrived at the damaged section. Tommy stood there with his head down, clearly expecting the worst. Chen looked at the damage. Then she looked at Tommy. "Tell me what happened," she said. Tommy explained his mistake. Chen listened without interrupting. When he finished, she nodded. "Okay, I see where you went wrong. Let me show you the correct procedure. Watch carefully." She spent an hour teaching Tommy the proper method. She explained why the mistake happened and how to prevent it in the future. She was patient. She was kind. But she was also thorough. When the lesson ended, Chen gave Tommy a choice. You can help repair this damage, or you can take a break and think about what you learned. What do you want to do? Tommy chose to help repair the damage. For the next 8 hours, he worked harder than anyone else on the team. Not because he feared punishment, but because he respected Chen's trust in him. Theron watched all of this and finally understood what made humans different. They did not just fix ships. They cared about the people fixing them. They built relationships. They taught instead of punished. They worked with emotion and passion, not cold efficiency, and somehow, impossibly, this made them better engineers. On the 4th day of repairs, Chief Engineer Sarah Chen invited Captain Theron to share a meal with her. This was another human peculiarity that confused him. Why eat together when eating separately was more efficient? But Theron accepted. He was learning that human customs often had hidden purposes. They met in a small cafeteria on Gateway Station. The room had windows that looked out at the stars. Earth hung in the distance, a blue and white sphere. Chen had chosen a table near the window. She brought 2 trays of food. Human food, but she had researched what Krell could safely eat. The gesture touched Theron more than he wanted to admit. They ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes. Then Theron asked the question that had been bothering him for days. Why do you do it this way? Your methods seem inefficient. Your facilities are chaotic. You waste time on personal connections and emotional comfort. Yet your results are exceptional. I do not understand. Chen set down her fork and looked out at the stars. Can I tell you a story about Earth history? She asked. Theron nodded. Thousands of years ago, humans lived in small groups. We hunted animals and gathered plants. Our tools were simple: stone axes, wooden spears. When these tools broke, we could not just buy new ones. We had to fix them or make new ones from whatever we could find. Our survival depended on our ability to repair and improvise. She paused to take a drink. As we became more advanced, this did not change. We built ships to cross oceans. Those ships broke in storms far from land. We could not call for help. We could not order replacement parts. We had to fix what broke using only what we had on the ship. Sailors became experts at emergency repairs. Theron listened with growing interest. When humans first went to space, we were terrible at it. Our early spacecraft broke constantly. Astronauts died. But we learned. We learned to repair things in zero gravity with limited tools. We learned to improvise solutions to problems we had never seen before. We sent missions to the moon with computers less powerful than a modern calculator. When things broke, and they always broke, the astronauts fixed them by hand. Chen smiled at a memory. One of my favorite stories is about Apollo 13. An oxygen tank exploded on the way to the moon. The spacecraft was dying. 3 astronauts were trapped in space, days from Earth. They had to build an air filter using only materials on the ship: duct tape, plastic bags, cardboard from a manual. They built it and it worked. They survived. She looked directly at Theron. We learned to repair things out of necessity, Captain. But somewhere along the way, it became something more. It became part of who we are. We do not just fix things to make them work. We fix them because we care about them. Theron's armor plates shifted with confusion. Care about them? They are machines, objects. They do not have feelings. True, Chen agreed. But the people inside them do. Every ship has a soul, Captain. Not a literal soul, but a spirit. A history. Your ship, the Sovereign's Talon, has served for 83 years. How many Krell have walked its corridors? How many families? How many births, deaths, celebrations, tragedies? That ship has protected thousands of lives. It carries memories and meaning. She gestured toward the repair bay visible through a distant window. When we repair your ship, we are not just fixing metal and circuits. We are preserving those memories. We are protecting the crew who trust that ship with their lives. We are honoring the purpose of that vessel. Every repair matters because every ship matters because every life matters. Theron felt something shift inside him. He thought about his ship differently now. In Krell facilities, he said slowly, ships are assets. Valuable, yes, but replaceable. Crews rotate every few years. No one forms attachments. I know, Chen said gently. Most species approach repair that way. Efficient, logical, and there's nothing wrong with that approach. But it misses something important. What does it miss? The human element. The unpredictable creativity that comes from caring. When my engineers repair a ship, they think about the crew. They imagine the families waiting for those crew members to come home. They remember their own experiences on ships. They work harder because it matters personally to them. Chen pulled out her personal device and showed Theron some statistics. This is interesting data. Ships repaired at human facilities have 60% higher return rates. That means 60% of ships we fix come back to us for future maintenance, even when closer facilities exist. We surveyed the captains and asked why. Do you know what they said? Theron shook his head. They said the humans care. They said human engineers remember their names. They said they trust us because we treat their ships like they matter. That is the difference, Captain. We build relationships. We create trust, and that makes us better at what we do. Theron thought about this for a long moment. Then he asked another question. That cascade failure in my ship, the one your engineers found, how did they detect it? Chen's expression became serious. Engineer Park found it. She was checking your power distribution systems and noticed something felt wrong. She could not explain it at first. The readings were all normal. Everything checked out. But she trusted her instinct. She spent 6 hours investigating. Eventually, she found the pattern buried in the algorithms. A timing error so small that it was technically within acceptable limits. But it would grow. In 6 weeks, it would kill everyone. Your automated systems would never have found it. Never. Automated systems check things against specifications. They look for what should be wrong. They follow programmed logic. But humans have something different. We have intuition. We can sense patterns that we cannot explain logically. We feel when something is off even when we cannot prove it yet. Chen leaned forward. Captain, let me ask you something. When you walk onto your bridge, can you tell if something is wrong before you check the instruments? Theron considered this. His armor plates shifted as he realized the truth. Yes. Sometimes I know something is wrong before any alarm sounds. I cannot explain how I know. Exactly. That is intuition. That is experience speaking through your unconscious mind. My engineers have that same ability with ships. They have spent years, decades working with systems. They know how things should feel, sound, smell, vibrate. When something is wrong, they sense it. She stood and walked to the window, looking at the Sovereign's Talon in the repair bay. Your ship will be ready in 10 days, Captain. Not 2 weeks, like I originally said. We found deficiencies. But more than that, my team wants to finish early. They like your crew. They enjoy the challenge of fixing Krell engineering. They take pride in making something beautiful work again. Theron joined her at the window. I must be honest with you, Chief Engineer. When we arrived here, I did not believe humans could properly repair my ship. I thought your methods were primitive, inefficient. I was wrong. Chen smiled. I appreciate that, Captain, but I do not think our methods are better than yours. They are just different. The Krell build incredible things. Your engineering is beautiful in its precision. We could learn from you. Maybe we already have just by working on your ship. She turned to face him directly. Here is what I think makes humans different, Captain. We learned to repair things because we had to survive. We perfected it because we care. We combine logic with emotion, precision with intuition, efficiency with compassion, and that combination creates something special. Theron extended his hand in the human gesture of respect. Chen took it. When my ship is repaired, Theron said, I will return to Krell space. I will tell my superiors about what I learned here. I think many things will change. Change can be good, Chen replied. But Captain, there is something else you should know. She led him to a console and showed him more data. Ships repaired at human facilities last 43% longer than ships serviced elsewhere. They have 38% fewer catastrophic failures. Crew morale on human-repaired vessels is 60% higher. These are not small differences. These are life and death differences. Theron stared at the numbers. They were impossible to ignore. Why? What is the reason? Chen's answer was simple. We do not just repair to specification. We repair with the next 10 years in mind. We anticipate problems before they occur. We think about how the crew will use the ship, how the systems will age, how different parts interact over time. Your automated systems optimize for right now. We optimize for the future, she paused. And we care, Captain. That matters more than you might think. When you care about something, you do not just fix it. You make it better. You protect it. You give it a future. Theron understood now. Human repair docks were not just fixing ships. They were saving lives, building relationships, creating trust across species. This was the heart of humanity's power. Not weapons, not technology, but compassion combined with competence. Emotion channeled into excellence. The galaxy was about to learn what one Krell captain already knew. Humans did not just repair ships. They brought them home. 6 months after the Sovereign's Talon left Gateway Station, the galaxy changed. Captain Theron kept his promise. He told everyone about the human repair dock. He spoke at military councils. He shared data with engineering departments. He described how humans had saved his ship and his crew. At first, other Krell captains were skeptical. Humans, the mediocre engineers? The species known for emotional thinking and chaotic methods? Surely Theron was exaggerating. But then other ships started arriving at Gateway Station. A Luminar research vessel with a cracked drive system. A Tsen cargo hauler with failing life support. A Vesh military cruiser damaged in the same border conflicts that had hurt the Sovereign's Talon. Each ship left repaired. More than repaired, improved. The crews returned home telling stories about the humans who fixed their vessels. Word spread through the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Within 6 months, Gateway Station faced a problem that Admiral Jessica Okonkwo had never expected. Too many customers. Okonkwo commanded Gateway Station from the central operations deck. She was a tall woman with dark skin and gray hair pulled back in a tight bun. She had served in the human fleet for 40 years. She had fought in 3 wars and negotiated peace in 2 others. But managing success? This was a new challenge. The repair requests kept coming. Ships from across the galaxy wanted human maintenance. The waiting list grew to 8 weeks, then 12 weeks. Some vessels traveled for months just to reach Gateway Station. Not everyone was happy about this success. The Tsen corporate syndicate operated the largest repair dock network in the galaxy, hundreds of facilities across dozens of systems. They had dominated the repair industry for centuries. Their business model was simple: automated efficiency, maximum throughput, minimum cost. Human repair docks threatened this model. Ships that used to visit Tsen facilities now traveled to human space. Revenue declined. Shareholders demanded action. The Tizen filed a formal complaint with the Galactic Council. They accused humans of unsafe practices, corporate sabotage, and violation of standard maintenance protocols. They demanded that humans be restricted to repairing only human vessels. The council scheduled a hearing. Admiral Okonkwo received the summons with mixed feelings. On one hand, this was an opportunity to defend human methods. On the other hand, it was a dangerous moment. If the council ruled against humans, everything they had built would end. The hearing took place on the Galactic Council Station, a massive structure that orbited a neutral star system. Representatives from 300 species gathered in the Grand Chamber. This was one of the most important hearings in recent history. Okonkwo sat at the human delegation table with Chief Engineer Sarah Chen beside her. Across the chamber, Tsen representatives prepared their arguments. They had brought graphs, data files, and testimony from their own engineers. The council chair called the hearing to order. She was a Luminar named Counselor Varix. The Luminar were known for fairness and careful thought. They valued evidence over emotion. The Tsen corporate syndicate has filed a complaint against human repair facilities. They claim that human methods are unsafe, inefficient, and violate established protocols. We will hear evidence from both sides. The syndicate may present their case first. The Tsen representative was a corporate executive named Zek. He was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and multiple arms. He approached the speaking platform with confidence. Honorable council members, we bring clear evidence of human incompetence. First, inefficiency. Human repair docks take an average of 12% longer to complete repairs compared to automated facilities. Time is money. Delays cost ship owners millions of credits. He displayed a graph showing repair times. Second, unsafe practices. Humans rely on outdated hands-on techniques instead of proven automated systems. They trust feelings over data. They make decisions based on intuition rather than scientific analysis. This is dangerous and unprofessional. Another graph appeared showing different repair methodologies. Third, they steal our customers through manipulative practices. They form emotional connections with crews. They offer personal attention that has nothing to do with actual repair quality. This is unfair competition. Zek pointed at the human delegation. We request that the Council restrict human repair facilities to human vessels only. Let each species maintain their own ships using their own methods. This protects safety and maintains fair competition. Councillor Varix nodded. Thank you. The human delegation may now respond. Chen stood and walked to the platform. She wore her repair suit, cleaned but showing signs of hard work. She carried a small data device. Councillors, that Zen are correct about one thing. We do take longer. 12% longer on average. We admit this. We take longer because we find problems that others miss. We take longer because we do not just fix what is broken today. We prevent what might break tomorrow. She activated her data device. Here are the facts. Ships repaired at human facilities have 43% longer operational lifespans. They have 38% fewer catastrophic failures. Crew survival rates are significantly higher. These are not opinions. These are verified statistics from independent sources. The chamber filled with surprised murmurs. The Tsen claim we use unsafe practices, but our safety record speaks for itself. In 6 months of operation with non-human vessels, we have had 0 fatalities, 0 injuries, and 0 accidents resulting in ship loss. Can the Tsen say the same? Zek shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. They say we rely on feelings instead of data. We use both. Automated systems are excellent at following specifications, but they cannot think creatively. They cannot sense patterns that fall outside programmed parameters. They cannot save lives when the problem is something nobody has seen before. Chen looked directly at the council. I have testimony from captains whose ships we repaired. With your permission, I would like them to speak. Councillor Varix agreed. Captain Theron entered the chamber. The Krell captain stood tall, his crystalline armor plates reflecting the chamber lights. When he spoke, his voice was firm and clear. 6 months ago, my ship was dying. The Tsen would have declared it beyond economical repair. They would have suggested I abandon the Sovereign's Talon and transfer my crew to a new vessel. The humans saved 3,000 lives. They returned my ship stronger than before. They found a hidden failure that would have killed everyone aboard. No automated system would have detected this problem. He paused. If efficiency means letting ships and crews die because problems do not appear in diagnostic scans, then I reject efficiency. If professionalism means following protocols that miss critical failures, then I reject professionalism. The humans saved my ship because they cared enough to look beyond the data. That is worth 12% more time. Other captains spoke. A Luminar science officer, a Vesh military commander, a Tsen freighter captain who had switched from syndicate facilities to human ones. Each told similar stories. Problems found that no one else detected. Repairs that lasted longer than expected. Crews treated with respect and care. The final witness surprised everyone. Ambassador Vorik of the Luminar Collective stood to speak. The Luminar were neutral in most disputes. They rarely took sides. When Vorik spoke, everyone listened. I have a question for Chief Engineer Chen, Vorik said. This council has heard impressive statistics and moving testimony. But I want to understand something deeper. Why are humans so good at repair work? What is the fundamental source of your capability? Chen smiled slightly. This was the question that mattered. Ambassador, may I show the council something? Varix nodded. Chen activated a holographic display. Images appeared. Humans throughout history. Ancient sailors repairing ships during storms. Early astronauts fixing spacecraft with limited tools. Engineers improvising solutions in war zones. Parents mending broken toys for their children. This is our history, Chen said quietly. We learned to repair things because we had to survive. But we perfected it because we care. Every engineer at Gateway Station knows the names of crew members on ships they repair. We remember which captain prefers stronger engine output. We know which species requires specific accommodations. We do not just see problems. We see people. She looked around the chamber. Your automated docks see ships. We see homes. Your systems follow protocols. We understand context. Your AI optimizes for efficiency. We optimize for survival, for safety, for the continuation of life and purpose. That is the difference. That is why we succeed. The chamber fell silent. Then Councillor Varick spoke. This council will deliberate and issue a ruling within 3 days. The hearing is adjourned. Those 3 days felt like 3 years to Chen and Okonkwo. They waited on the council station, unable to return to Gateway Station. They reviewed their testimony. They worried about the decision. On the 3rd day, the council reconvened. Councillor Varick read the decision. This council finds that human repair facilities operate safely and effectively. Their methods, while unconventional, produce superior results. The Tsen complaint is denied. Humans may continue to repair vessels from any species. Relief flooded through Chen. But Varick was not finished. However, this council recognizes that the galaxy faces a larger question. Can we learn from human methods? Can we improve our own practices by understanding their approach? 2 years after the Galactic Council hearing, Gateway Station looked very different. The station had expanded to 3 times its original size. New repair bays stretched in every direction. The observation deck where Captain Theron and Chief Engineer Chen once shared a meal now overlooked a massive facility that never slept. Ships from dozens of species filled the docks. A Krell battlecruiser undergoing maintenance. A Tsen cargo hauler receiving upgrades. A Luminar research vessel getting its sensors recalibrated. A Vesh destroyer having its weapons systems repaired. But the most important change was not the physical expansion. It was the people. The Galactic Repair Academy occupied an entire wing of the station. Hundreds of engineers from across the galaxy studied there. They learned human repair techniques. They taught their own methods. They created something new together. Chen stood in the academy classroom watching a mixed group of students work on a damaged engine core. A young human woman worked alongside a Krell male. A Tsen engineer collaborated with a Luminar scientist. They argued, laughed, and solved problems together. Admiral Okonkwo joined Chen at the observation window. Hard to believe, is it not? Okonkwo said quietly. 2 years ago we were fighting just to keep doing what we do. Now we are teaching the entire galaxy. Chen smiled, but her expression held concern. I worry sometimes. Are we losing what makes us special? As other species learn our methods, will human repair work still be unique? Okonkwo considered this. Come with me. I want to show you something. They walked through the station to Repair Bay 7. A massive fleet carrier from the Tsen corporate syndicate filled the dock. This was significant. The same syndicate that had tried to shut down human operations now came to Gateway Station for repairs. But what caught Chen's attention was the repair team. The lead engineer was Zek, the Tsen executive who had testified against humans at the council hearing. He wore a repair suit now instead of corporate clothes. He worked alongside his crew, touching the ship, listening to systems, using human techniques. When he saw Chen approaching, he stopped working and came over. Chief Engineer Chen, I hoped I might see you. Chen was surprised. 2 years ago, this man had tried to destroy her career. Executive Zek, I did not expect to see you here, especially not in a repair suit. Zek's multiple arms moved in what Chen had learned was a Tsen gesture of embarrassment. I owe you an apology. I fought against your methods because I did not understand them. I thought efficiency was everything. I was wrong. After the council ruling, I enrolled in your academy. I learned why you do things differently, and I realized something important. What did you realize? Chen asked. That I had forgotten why I became an engineer in the first place. When I was young, I loved fixing things. I took pride in making machines work better. But somewhere in my career, I stopped caring about the work. I only cared about profits and efficiency numbers. You reminded me that engineering matters. The ships we repair carry lives. That responsibility is sacred. He gestured at his crew, a mix of Tsen and human engineers working together. I left the corporate syndicate. I started my own repair company. We use a hybrid approach, Tsen precision and automation combined with human intuition and care. We are smaller than the syndicate, but our clients come back. They trust us. Chen felt emotion tighten her throat. That means more to me than you know. Thank you for telling me. As they walked away, Okonkwo spoke. You asked if we are losing what makes us special. Look at what just happened. That Tsen engineer learned our techniques, yes. But he also found his own way. He combined his species' strengths with ours. He created something new. That is the real gift we are giving the galaxy, not just our methods but the permission to care. They returned to the observation deck. Chen looked out at the dozens of ships being repaired. Each one represented lives saved, families protected, homes preserved. An alert came through on Chen's communication device. A new ship had arrived requesting emergency repairs. She checked the details and smiled. The Sovereign's Talon had returned. Chen met Captain Theron at the airlock. The Krell captain looked exactly the same, though his armor plates showed new patterns that Chen had learned meant contentment. Captain Theron, welcome back. What brings you to Gateway Station? Theron's 4 eyes all focused on her. Routine maintenance, Chief Engineer. My ship does not need emergency repairs this time, but Krell High Command has issued new orders. All vessels in our fleet must receive maintenance at facilities that follow your protocols. They said the survival statistics speak for themselves. We can no longer ignore the evidence, he paused. Also, I wanted to see how the Academy was progressing. Krell engineers study here now. They send reports home about what they learn. The reports are transforming how we think about maintenance and repair. Chen felt pride swell in her chest. Would you like to tour the Academy while your ship is being serviced? I would like that very much. They walked through the Academy together. Theron observed classes where humans taught alien engineers how to sense problems through touch. He watched Krell instructors teaching humans about precision measurement. He saw Tsen professors explaining advanced automation, while human teachers demonstrated when to override automated decisions. In one classroom, a young Tsen engineer stood before a broken engine component. Her human instructor, a man named Rodriguez, watched as she examined it. The student ran her hands over the metal. She closed her eyes and listened. Then she opened them and pointed at a specific location. There. The stress fracture is there. I cannot see it, but I feel it in the vibration pattern. Rodriguez smiled widely. Excellent work. You are learning to trust your instincts. Now how would you repair it? The student explained her repair plan. It combined Zen precision with human creativity. Rodriguez looked proud. Theron watched this exchange with fascination. She is Zen, but she works like a human. How is this possible? Chen smiled. Because caring is not uniquely human, Captain. It is universal. Every species can learn to form connections with their work. We just forgot how to teach it. The Academy reminds students why they became engineers. We help them remember that their work matters. They continued the tour. In the final classroom, Chen showed Theron something special. A mixed team of engineers from 6 different species worked together on a complex repair. They argued about methods. They shared knowledge. They laughed at mistakes and celebrated solutions. Most importantly, they treated each other with respect and kindness. This is what I hoped would happen, Chen said quietly. Different species learning from each other. Combining strengths. Creating something better than any of us could build alone. Theron's armor plates shifted into a pattern Chen had never seen before. She wondered what it meant. You have changed the galaxy, Chief Engineer. Not with weapons or politics, but with compassion and competence. You showed us that caring about our work makes us better at it. That forming relationships creates trust. That combining emotion with logic produces superior results. He gestured at the students working together. You have created something more valuable than any repair dock. You have built bridges between species. You have taught us to see each other as partners rather than competitors. That is true power. Chen felt tears in her eyes. She had not cried in years, but this moment overwhelmed her. We just fixed some ships. Captain. Theron's armor plates shifted again, this time into what Chen recognized as the Krell version of a smile. No, Chief Engineer. You fixed how we see each other. That is infinitely more important. Later that day, Chen stood alone on the observation deck. She looked out at Gateway Station. Ships from across the galaxy filled the docks. Engineers from dozens of species worked side by side. The Academy trained the next generation of repair specialists who would spread these methods throughout the stars. She thought about how it all started. One damaged Krell ship, one reluctant captain, one opportunity to show that human methods worked, but it was more than that. It was about remembering that behind every machine was a person, behind every repair was a life, behind every technical decision was a moral responsibility. Humans had not conquered the galaxy with superior weapons or advanced technology. They had earned respect through compassion, trust through competence, and influence through genuine care for others. Admiral Okonkwo joined her at the window. The council contacted me today. They want to establish 10 more academy facilities throughout the galaxy. They asked if we could provide instructors and curriculum. Chen smiled. We can. We have graduates now who can teach. The movement is bigger than just Gateway Station. It belongs to everyone. Okonkwo pointed to a new sign being installed above the main dock entrance. Workers carefully positioned the large letters. The sign read, "We do not just repair ships, we bring them home." That was your idea, was it not? Okonkwo asked. It seemed appropriate. Every ship we repair carries someone's family, someone's dreams, someone's future. When we send them back into space, we are sending them home. That is what we do. That is who we are. Below them, the Sovereign's Talon was being serviced by a mixed crew. Human Kreltsen and Luminar engineers worked together. They touched the hull, listened to systems, shared knowledge, and solved problems as a team. One young human engineer made a mistake that damaged a minor component.